everyone, and welcome to another episode of Little Give. Today we're on with Amber, and we're really excited to peel back the layers of her and her story. Go ahead, tell the audience where you're from and what you're all about.
Hey, so my name is Amber Thompson Snell, and I primarily grew up in the San Antonio area, but now living just north of Dallas. So I am the co-founder and CEO of Foundation Mental Wellness, and I'm super excited to be on the show with you today. I'm very thankful, and I think extremely highly of you. So this is an honor to be here.
Well, I'm honored to have you on the show as well, and we're really excited to peel back the layers of you and your story. So how in the world did you end up becoming the CEO and founder of this organization?
Well, so what actually happened is I've been in the health insurance space for several years. And I had an attorney actually out of San Antonio reach out to me, and he said, "Hey, my daughter had a recent suicide attempt. It's imperative that her health insurance have her therapist in network." And I researched for about 3 weeks, and I felt like if I couldn't do it, it just wasn't going to happen. So I remember vividly that day, I slammed my hand on the desk. I told my husband, I said, "Listen, I'm ready to go to Austin and advocate, or I'm ready to go to Washington, D.C. and advocate, because the system is extremely broken." And the extremely brilliant guy that he is, he said, "Hey, why don't we just make our own?" And I thought, oh, wow, okay, let's do it. And lo and behold, like, we got in touch with some of the contacts that we needed to get our platform, to get everything. And that's where we were birthed. But ultimately, it goes a little bit further than that. My mom suffers from mental illness, and I've had so many struggles with, growing up in that environment. So it just kind of came full circle, and that's how it all started.
Wow, that's incredible. You took your own life, things that you had to live with personally with your mom and all of that, and then took it and turned it into something that can help other people. I always love to hear stories about that. So was the problem that insurance didn't cover help for the attorney's daughter?
So she had a therapist that she already had a relationship with, but the therapist wouldn't take insurance. And the insurance that we were getting her is Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare. So there's so many therapists out there that's not willing to take the insurance because they pay slow, or they don't pay enough, or there's so much red tape when you're wanting to take insurance. And the one that she particularly found, it's important to have a relationship with your therapist. Once you do have that, you have to build that trust. It's really hard to let that go. So ultimately, he was willing to just pay out of pocket for this particular instance.
Wow. So that's insane. I do understand that there's a lot of red tape, but that's what we have insurance for, is to cover these things that are like medically necessary. So whenever this all went down and he wasn't able to get the insurance to cover the therapy, how does your company bridge that gap?
So we don't accept insurance. That's one thing that I've been really strong and powerful with. And that's actually what sets us aside from the entire market. With our competitors being Talkspace, BetterHelp, and those types of companies, which are absolutely incredible. And if you do have insurance that you want to use, that's fantastic. But we want to reach the people who don't have the insurance, or the insurance is too hard, or their copays are too high. And we have over 2,000 clinicians that they get to choose from. So we understand that you have to sometimes go through a couple. We have to make sure that you find the person that you connect with. And that's where we pride ourselves. We pride ourselves in being able to make sure you can go to our website and you can learn exactly how we're helping people. The idea here is to make it affordable, accessible, and usable. Without those three things, what you have really doesn't mean much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So what is your favorite part of being the founder of this organization?
Helping people, truly helping people. With my background, I've watched people struggle, and it's all over the nation, all over the world. It's a worldwide epidemic, actually, with mental health. And if y'all remember that little baby thing a couple of years ago called COVID, people's mental health decreased substantially. people were having to overcome so many different things that nobody had ever had to, overcome before. And a lot of it was loneliness, where loneliness turns into depression. Depression turns into, so many other things. So unfortunately, we weren't around during COVID, but now we do have that access, and it's been really, really incredible for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the COVID, people were struggling with finances because they couldn't go to work. They were struggling with, they're having a place to stay because they couldn't pay their rent because they couldn't work. And then, of course, struggling because they were alone. There was just so many things, as you said, that really made people feel extremely isolated. And so it's good that there's these programs out there like this that can really touch those people where they need to be, communicated with and get their thoughts out. Right. So Is yours a virtual platform?
It is. So we are an online mental health platform. And what is a little, I guess, I don't know if it's unique or not, but what I love about our platform is it's all in one place. So you sign up with our program, you become active, and then you get a dashboard. So not only do you have talk therapy, we recently added in the ability to see a psychiatrist and a psychologist. So I don't know if anybody has ever gone through this route, but you go to your doctor and you're like, hey, doctor, I'm just really not feeling well. And he's like, great, let me give you a referral. And he hands you a list of like 12 people that you can call to go see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And you look at the list, and I've been there personally myself. I looked at this list and I was like, what? Where do I even start with all of these people? It turns blank to you. So just getting the list in itself was overwhelming. So I'm overwhelmed. And now I've got another list of overwhelming things to overcome just to get the help that I need. So I finally got in touch with somebody, and I'm not playing with you. Whenever I called the psychiatrist, she said, okay, we have about a 10-month wait. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you're kidding me. Like, what am I going to do in the meantime? And I know that my story is not unique. I know that's happening every single day, whether it's a psychologist. So we have that step level, right? So if you need therapy in the moment, 24/7, 365, we have that available for you. If you need something more than that therapy, that's where we have access to a psychologist right there. And all in the same place. You don't have to search. We're not going to send you out anywhere. So you can go to a psychologist. And you know what? If things are really, really rough and you need to get some medication or you need help in other ways, we have psychiatry as well. So that's where we're taking the hard out of mental health and having it all under one roof without referrals and without crazy wait times.
Hi, my name is Justin Clark, and I'm the president of the board of directors for Driving Single Parents, a 501c3 nonprofit serving the citizens of San Antonio and Bexar County, Texas. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about the great work that our organization is doing for the citizens of San Antonio. What you're about to see is just a few photos and videos of the way that we're changing lives for single parents in and around San Antonio, Texas. Our first giveaway took place in April of 2017, just one short month after the formation of our organization. John, a Bexar County resident, was the victim of a horrible drunk driver incident. He and his daughter survived the crash, and we were so proud to give our first car to this deserving family. Fast forward to 2020, a very difficult year for nonprofits. We were able to secure 4 vehicles for single parents in need. Our organization, including our board of directors, list of partners, and portfolio of people we've been able to help in San Antonio, continues to grow, and it's all thanks to donors and local community organizations that have helped us along the way. This giveaway took place in 2021 and shows that we continue to help single parents even after the struggles brought about by COVID-19. Because of limited funds and the overwhelming need, we at Driving Single Parents are incredibly selective with the people we help. Some are victims of domestic violence. Others had a spouse pass away tragically or otherwise fell on hard times. These single parents show adversity in the face of challenge and aren't looking for a handout. We offer a hand up and help get them back in the driver's seat. Many of the single parents we help go on to graduate college, get promotions, get married, mentor others, and some have even been so touched by the gift we gave them that they have decided to join our board of directors to pay it forward and ensure the continued growth of our organization. If you would like to help our organization continue to grow and continue to help single parents in need in San Antonio, Texas, and Bexar County, Texas, we would really appreciate your support. Please visit us online at www.drivingsingleparents.org. Thank you.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. I love it whenever somebody sees a problem in the market and then they find a way to solve that problem. It doesn't seem like an easy feat to me, though. This is a big, big, big deal. How did you have the confidence to believe that you could solve this issue yourself?
One step at a time. And I promise you, it did not come without lots of tears, lots of blood, lots of sweat, lots of the feeling of failure. Honestly, we had a platform change several months ago. And, with being the CEO and having my face out there, and I'm, talking to my friends and my family, and everybody knows who I am. And then I felt we switched platforms, but for a minute there, we were kind of in limbo. And you have that overwhelming feeling of, oh crap, I think I just failed. And the feeling of failure can do two things. It can make you stop, or it can make you work harder. And I have an amazing husband who's a great backbone of always working harder, always pushing through. And so with him and it just keeping going, just don't stop. Whatever it is that you do. I don't care if it's a coloring book and you only have half a page colored, you'll get a finished product. Just keep going. Don't stop.
Absolutely. I think it's very difficult for some people. They have great ideas and, oh, what if we did this or what if we did that? But the execution of those ideas, people can fall short with because of that fear and because nobody wants to fail. I love that you just said, well, we're just going to find a way, and then just kept pushing and pushing. And I also love the fact that you share that raw part of it where it's like, it's not a win every day. You don't wake up and say, look what I did. It's a whole lot of growing through all the problems that come about as you're trying to build this huge thing.
Yeah. One of my friends said it best, that said entrepreneurship is like the wildest roller coaster you could ever imagine. Totally true, because it is. Every entrepreneur I've ever met, they're going to have those peaks and valleys. And I'm no different. I've had them as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard some people explain entrepreneurship as if you're going down a mountain on a bicycle on fire every single day.
It is very much like that, for sure.
Yeah. And then once you get it all figured out and you're like, okay, we're good now. Well, then you have a new idea, right? And then you're going to build onto that like you did with the psychiatrist. It's like, oh, this is going good. What else can we do to make it a little harder?
Totally.
Yeah. And, I say to make it a little harder, but what I really mean is to find a bigger way to serve. And I love that about your story. What made you really want to just dive in and do this?
This story about this young lady wasn't my first story. This had been happening to my sister. It happened to people I know constantly over and over. And I've been in the health insurance space long enough to see that it's an actual problem. It's not, and that's not being fixed. It's not being addressed. It's not going away. What can I do? What can we do? What can everyone in our circle, what can we do to fix it? How can we make it better? And that's where I just believe that it was so broken, it had to be fixed. And that's really what it came down to. But I will say one of my favorite parts about our business, and I think that one of the reasons why we've been so successful and been able to take our company in places that we never thought, is because we actually, for every person that we help get access to therapy, we actually donate a portion of our proceeds back to a nonprofit organization. And that nonprofit organization is called Room Redux. And they go in and anonymously in one day change the rooms of children who have experienced any kind of abuse. That's the sexual abuse or physical abuse. And it takes donations, right? So what happens is we get all of our kids who want to go through the program. We get them from either child advocacy centers, the FBI, CPS, or local law enforcement. And that's where we get those kids, and we make sure that they're safe and we make sure they're taken care of. And then once they're in counseling, that's when they're referred to Room Redux. And that's where we can go in, and it takes around $2,500 to transform any room. And then we're able to get all of our volunteers and go in and transform these kids' rooms in one day, because a lot of times that trauma happens in that bedroom, right? They need that safe space. They need somewhere to heal and to get better. So what I like to say when I'm talking about my company, Foundation Mental Wellness, is the more people we help get access to therapy, the more children's lives we get to change right in return.
Oh my goodness, it's such a beautiful nonprofit. How did you first come to know about this nonprofit?
So very candidly, I met the founder and CEO at the Children Advocacy Center several years ago. My family had been through a very traumatic experience. We ended up at her facility, and there was something a little bit, she said it was a little bit different between us. And we instantly clicked. And then we lost touch for a couple of years. And when we came back together, I was a business owner and doing what I do as a single mom and everything that I was thriving with. And she started Room Redux, and I saw it from inception because she worked with those children all the time. And she, like all of us who start a business, we know that something is broken and it has to be fixed. So not only is Room Redux, local, right? So there's chapters all over the world. There's chapters in Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom. So Susie works with the FBI and exploited children all over the world. So with us giving back, we feel like it's kind of full circle if you think about it, right? So children who are broken grow into broken adults, which grows into something even bigger, right? So if we're helping from the base, if we're helping from these kiddos, we want to be that long-term play. You know what I mean? Does that even make sense?
Oh, 100%, because if you can heal early on, then you don't have to carry all that pain and stress through your whole life, and you're able to just resolve it early on. So you can definitely, work at a higher level when you get older and as you grow through all the things. So no, I think it's a brilliant idea. It totally makes perfect sense. And I think it's just so incredible. Like you're talking about what you did to make the world a little bit better with what you're doing. And then how this person came up with this beautiful nonprofit where the same thing happened, where she had an idea and she executed it. And look at all the lives that are being changed by the both of you. And I really want to share with my audience that it's not because, you were born with all these particular tools. It's because you made a choice and a decision to take that idea and grow it. And so did the nonprofit founder. And I just want everybody out there who's listening to know that could be you too. You can take your idea and you can grow it into something amazing that causes the ripple effect that is being caused by Amber and this nonprofit. So what would you say to somebody out there who has something, but they want to do something, but they're afraid?
As simple as it sounds, I would say just do it. Just do it. And it's crazy when you make up your mind to do something, the right things come to you, the right resources come to you. Now, it doesn't happen 100% of the time because, like I said in the beginning, it's very hard work. But you don't know what the world is waiting for. You clearly have something destined in you. And I always go back to that story of what if you didn't, right? There's so many people that work on that operation of cheerleaders and everybody's going to be great. And yes, we believe in you. But then there's also that other kind of person that says, what if you don't? Like, I that's the kind of person that I operate from. I do better when somebody says, no, you can't, or what if you don't? Or, I would rather be motivated by something of that nature. And that's what I say to you. What if you don't? Who's going to suffer without what you have to offer?
Hi, my name is Andrew Fraley, and I believe that sometimes we all need a little bit of help. If you're in the San Antonio community and you need some legal help, call me at 210-725-4658.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I founded my nonprofit, Driving Single Parents, people were like, what are you doing? You're gonna give away cars? That's never going to work. That's a liability. You shouldn't do that. I don't think that's a good idea. I had so many people, and I don't know what it was, but I was just like, no, I know for sure this is going to work. And I know for sure it's going to change lives. And I know for sure that it feels right to move forward. Did you experience a little bit of that in your journey of when you first started, to having some people maybe say, I don't know if you can do that, and then you saying it just feels right?
Oh yeah. And it's crazy because the people who know you, and they're not always on board. And I have to say, it wasn't until I was in Force magazine, and I was in a published magazine, that my grandmother actually saw that I was really doing something real. It takes some others a little longer to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And they don't understand the capacity, especially the older generation. But once she saw the publication, she was like, oh, wow, you're really doing something. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I've been telling you this. Yeah, I read your article in the magazine, and we were so grateful to feature you and the good work that you're doing in this world. That's what Force Magazine's all about. But that's just so interesting how people, they don't just like take your word for it, that are closest to you. You would think that they would be completely supportive and completely on board and super excited for you, but it's not always the case. And sometimes they need that social proof of, like you said, a magazine article or, something else that they see outside of you and what you're saying. Is so interesting.
To validate. Yeah. They need validation, right? So
yeah. And I think a lot of it is too, that they know you, like you said in the beginning, is like, they know you so deeply. They're like, oh no, it's just, she's just Amber, or that's just Cindy. She don't do nothing like that, and then, but the truth is you did do something really cool and really amazing. And you're continuing to serve people and help people. And like you said earlier, as mental health is just such a big, big thing that really needs addressing. And it just, we all need to be connected in a way that is, a human experience together. And with what you're doing, it really can help people bridge that gap that they're feeling with their mental health.
Yeah. And to that point, Cindy, one of my favorite quotes I have on my Instagram is, some of the strongest people are the ones who have to overcome the things that you don't know. Right. So thank you. What it shows on the screen, the strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who win the battles that no one knows anything about. And that's why I think it's extremely important to always know that it was explained one time, you never know what somebody's going through. Mm-hmm. And I always try to be patient and kind. And by no means am I perfect, but I really do try to give that grace to every person I have ever encountered. If it's at the grocery store, if it's in traffic, right? Because I've been that person before, having a bad day, and would like somebody to give me that grace. But you see people for what they have on social media, or the kind of car they drive, or the house they live in, or whatever that case may be, because everybody gets their own perception. But you never know those battles. That's like, think about how many movie stars have actually committed suicide, who you're thinking, oh my gosh, they have all the money in the world and all the fame and stardom and life is so good. Why would they do that? Because everybody has something that you don't know what's going on with them, and that's where I also feel like we are able to bring so much value with giving people that outlet.
100%. I always think back to when I was a kid and I would think, my goodness, that person has this, they've got it all figured out, or that person's in their 40s, they've got it all figured out. I would just think that, when you get to a certain place in your life, you're going to have it all figured out. When you get but now I realize that, like, no matter what you're going through or growing through, you're never going to have it figured out. There's always going to be a challenge. There's always going to be that rainy day. There's always going to be that stressful time. There's always going to be something going on that you're going through or growing through constantly. And nobody ever has it figured out. And now that I'm where I'm at in my life, I'm so grateful for that. Because how boring would it be if everything was just, that's it, you're done. Everything's perfect. That would just be so boring. So I'm grateful that I get to continue to grow through these things. But therapy can be a big help with that, to help you understand and realize that you are not the only one who are feeling these feelings or experiencing these downfalls. Is that a little bit kind of what people get from what you offer?
Yeah, 100%. And what I think is very awesome as well. So I feel like there's two types of people, right? There's the type of people that are holistic, right, and want to do everything all natural. And there's also the type that believe in medication and doctors and want to make sure that they get the help that they need that way. And what I think is great is we offer both options. So we can take you down the path of therapy to psychology to psychiatry and get those medications that you need. But we also offer a holistic way. There's an all natural product and we call it Happy Juice. And what it does is everybody thinks that your mental health starts in your brain, but it doesn't. It actually starts in your gut. So what we have is that vegan, non-GMO, all completely natural product that gets your gut-brain axis in order. And it releases those endorphins and it helps reduce cortisol, all those good things. So we have a way to help reach a multitude of people, whether you want to do it on the holistic side with just with all natural products or and talk therapy, of course. Or maybe you want to go through talk therapy and then prescriptions. So we're really trying to encompass and meet people where they're at.
I love that. And just making sure that everybody gets served wherever they are. I love that because it isn't just a one-stop shop. It isn't just here's this one recipe and everybody is going to be perfect with it. No, it's got to be individualized. And so it's neat that you guys are offering so many different ways to really get the help that people need. I love that. Can you give the audience an example of a little thing that they can do in their community that might just be a little give on their end, but might make a big impact on the other side?
Yeah. So I believe in volunteer. I truly believe in the power of volunteering. I know time is money, and we all, people oftentimes say, I don't have time. But what they mean is I didn't prioritize my time. Uh-huh. And I believe that if you really want to make a change, money is fantastic. Donations are fantastic. But what's going to happen whenever we're trying to transform a room and we have nobody show up to paint the walls or to tear up flooring or to move furniture? So I believe in volunteering, whether it be a homeless shelter or your time. People want that connection, that love, that intimate way of sharing what they're going through.
Absolutely. I love that. Just give a little bit of your time. Even if it's just 30 minutes, that's something that you can do that really can make a difference. It doesn't cost you anything. So great example. Can you give the audience an example of a time in your life where somebody did something little for you? Might have just been a little give on their end, but really made an impact on you and in your life.
Sure. So I was a single mom for 12 years and I built a business as a single mom. I raised my kids. They were all in sports. And I had to start from the bottom, where I had to move back home and get into government housing and get on government assistance. I had to start from literally zero. And I was a bartender at the time. And so one time I was in there and I was bartending and I love talking to people. I love connecting. And this guy was in town from business or on business. And we got to talking and I don't remember how it transpired. But the long story short is he asked if I wanted to go to lunch with him, and it was very platonic. I felt very, very safe, weirdly safe, actually. And he was sitting there with me at lunch, and I guess I had expressed a monetary need, right? So he takes me to lunch and he hands me an envelope when I'm leaving. And then it's almost like he vanished. It's almost like like he was an angel that showed up. But in that envelope was $400. Now, for this guy, he mentioned he makes quite a bit of money. So I can imagine that maybe that $400 didn't mean as much to him. But what that meant for me, that meant me going home to my kids and paying the bills that needed to be paid, to put gas in my car, and to get food on the table. So that is where you never know. Maybe it's big or maybe it's little, but what you give, it can never hurt. There's always something that is positive that comes out of it. And that's incredible. Because he was truly like an angel. I can't even explain it. It was like he came out of nowhere and then he was gone. So yeah.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful story. And it kind of reminds me of something I can totally relate, because it reminds me of something that happened to me back when I was a single mom and struggling and selling plasma and working 2 jobs and doing all the things, going to school. We were in Walmart, me and my daughters, and a lady just walked up to me and she just handed me an envelope and said, "Merry Christmas." And like, same thing you just said, just kind of like disappeared, didn't see her again. And there was $40 in that envelope. And $40 may not seem like a big deal to many, but $40 was a big deal to me. And that helped me get my daughters a little bit something more for Christmas than what I was able to budget. So it made a huge, huge difference. And I'll never forget the lady's face and the genuine look on her face of like, not expecting a thank you, not saying there's money in here, nothing like that. It was just Merry Christmas. And she just walked away. And so that what you're sharing about this $400 that was probably no big deal to him really made an impact on you and in your life. And that story has kept with you all of these years. And now you are returning the favor in what you're doing with this nonprofit work and giving back to those who are in need. So I just think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really nice. So now I'm teaching my kids to do the same thing. Because it all starts with the head of the house, right? So if we're teaching our kids, we're getting better, and it's all a trickle effect.
That's right. Yep. Children don't often do what you say, they do as you do. So showing the proof is in the pudding. And so doing that with your kids is just always such an impactful thing. Plus you can build memories that they'll never forget by doing it together. So absolutely love that. Why don't you tell the audience where they can find out more about you, get in touch, seek out your services, give them all the details.
Okay. So you can actually find us at foundationmentalwellness.com. We're good on Google, and you should be able to ask Alexa or Siri to find us as well soon. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And soon you'll also be able to watch the movie Spiral and be able to see how you can access our services at the end of the movie there. So we're able to help in a multitude of ways. Spiral, if it's the only movie on the market right now that really encompasses mental health on a very, very personal level. And we're just very blessed to have this new partnership with them. You can also get more information about them in People Magazine, TMZ, or even right there in Austin. So we're excited to be exposed in that manner too.
That's so exciting. Just continue to grow what you're building. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing everything you've shared with us today. And the nonprofit you featured is beautiful. For anybody out there who's watching, if you need some therapy, you need some help, she gave you all the ways to get in touch, find out more, visit their website, watch the movie. And then if you are passionate about that nonprofit, go to their website, find out more. And if you can volunteer, and if you can't volunteer, consider making a donation. $1, $5, any amount will go back to helping these little ones get a renewed room. So thank you so much for being on again. I'm so grateful for you and all you're doing to make the world better. And for the audience who's watching today, we'll see you all next week. If you enjoyed this episode of Little Give, head on over to our website at littlegive.com. You'll be able to find all the information about previous episodes and past guests that we've had on. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on Little Give, all the information is also on the website. And if you have a nonprofit that you love and would like to recommend be on the show, All of that information is also on the website. We really appreciate you watching today, and we can't wait to see you again next week.